The weapons of tomorrow, today. The far future might have blasters, phasers, disruptors, and other laser or plasma-based weapons, but the near future might have weapons that aren't as different from what we have now. Guns are still getting better, but their development is now focused on things like making them easier to use and making them look better. So-called smart guns that were said to have a computerized ammo counter, built-in targeting systems, and other high-tech gadgets have been shown to be more of a marketing gimmick than a real weapon. But there are a few small arms from the future that are already in use. Right now, these weapons are being used. Let's look at the top 5 futuristic guns that are next level. Number 5. FN P90. The Belgian company FN Herstal made the P90 personal defense weapon, or PDW, for NATO in the middle of the 1980s. It's a small but powerful gun. Since the early 1990s, it has been used by vehicle crews, operators of crew-served weapons, support staff, special operators, and teams that fight terrorism. It's a lot like a bullpup, which is an assault weapon with the trigger unit and magazine feed behind the trigger unit. This design makes it possible to use a full-length barrel in a smaller package, but it does so in a modern way. Bullpups usually store the magazine on the bottom of the stock, but the gun's designer, Stefan Ferrard, moved the magazine to the top of the gun, where it can be seen better. This led to the creation of a fixed stock that was a little bit bigger and had both a carrying handle and a pistol grip built in. When it is finished, the gun is only 19.9 inches long and weighs only 5.7 pounds when it's not loaded. The FN P90 is still widely used today, even though it is made in Belgium. This is true not only for the 40 or so international police and military users, but also for movie and TV armorers who want a submachine gun that looks futuristic but is still small. The P90 has been in a number of science fiction movies and TV shows, like Stargate SG-1 and Doctor Who, as well as movies like The Hunger Games and Looper. Number 4. Steyr AUG. In the 1970s, the Steyr AUG was made for the Austrian Army. It went on to become the first bullpup design that was really successful. The select fire weapon is based on a modular weapon system that lets it be quickly set up as a rifle, a carbine, a sniper rifle, a submachine gun, or even an open-bolt squad automatic weapon. The select fire gun fires from a closed bolt and works like any other gun with a gas piston. It is yet another weapon that has been shown in movies and TV shows to be a weapon of the future. It was first seen in the James Bond movie Octopussy, which came out in 1983. Soviet forces were seen using it. Later, it was used in RoboCop, but pop star Madonna was the first action celebrity to really use it in the movie Who's That Girl? In the movie Die Hard, it was a key part of the plot. It's said that it was chosen to show a more unusual weapon than the M16s that the LAPD's SWAT team uses. Number 3. KRISS Vector. Some gun designers have tried to reinvent the wheel, but the people who made the KRISS Vector just wanted to make what was already there better. Other submachine guns tend to pull up and to the right, but the Vector has a patented system that lets the block and bolt recoil into a space behind the magazine well. Unlike other submachine guns which tend to pull up and to the right, this one doesn't. In fact, the inline design reduces the effects of recoil and muzzle rise to a point where they are almost insignificant. The Vector is a select fire gun that can be set to fire either semi-automatically in bursts of 2 rounds or fully automatically. It shoots from a bolt that is closed. The most recent version of the gun can fire more than 1,100 bullets per minute, which is a very fast rate of fire for a modern submachine gun. To meet the needs of close quarter combat, or CQB, and police enforcement special weapons and tactics, or SWAT operators, the gun's weight has been moved very close to the shooter. Also, the Vector submachine gun was made to meet all of these needs. The muzzle rise and recoil are both reduced even more because the barrel is aligned with the shooter's shoulder as well as their hand. This design is like a target pistol in a way. This feature makes it easier to move the Vector SMG in tight spaces and makes it easier to find and switch targets quickly. In addition to John Wick Chapter 2 and Taken 3, the KRISS Vector also showed up in the 2012 and 2014 remakes of Total Recall and RoboCop, which were both shown in theaters. Number 2. Kel-Tec KSG. The Kel-Tec KSG has proven to be a true 21st century version of the famous double-barreled shotgun. It is also the most important improvement in shotgun technology in more than a century. Since it came out, the Kel-Tec KSG has proven to be a true 21st century version of the famous double-barrel shotgun. Instead of a magazine tube, which makes the gun too long, or a vertical box magazine, which makes a CQB or close quarters battle weapon less compact, the KSG has a dual-tube magazine that lets you change the ammunition load without having to empty the shotgun. This lets the user switch between different types of ammunition without having to empty the shotgun. The two magazines are laid out so that they are next to each other and don't take up any extra space in the vertical direction. The military and law enforcement KSG Tactical is about as small as you can get. Without the magazine, it's only 1.5 inches longer than a foot and weighs only 6.2 pounds or 2.8 kilograms. It's only a little over a foot long. Still, depending on the size of the shell, it can hold either a 4+4+1 or 5+5+1. Because of this, the weapon can be set up in different ways and then changed based on what the operation needs. One tube can be filled with mini shells, and the other with 3-inch buckshot, for example. A manual selection level makes it easy and quick to reload or switch ammo while you're in the pitch. The KSG was in movies like Suicide Squad and John Wick, and they were also in the TV show The Blacklist. Number 1. Magpul FMG9. There have been a few movies with briefcase weapons, but most of them are just for show and don't really work. The folding machine gun, which Francis J. Warren made in the 1980s for Eugene Stoner's company Ayers Inc., was a model for the Magpul FMG9, which is a real gun. The folding machine gun was used to make parts of the Magpul FMG9. Warren came up with the idea for a self-defense weapon for powerful politicians and wealthy businessmen who live in countries where kidnapping is common. The FMG9 took that idea and made it better by using a modified Glock 18 machine gun. In the 2012 movie Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, a fake version of this gun, which may have been an airsoft gun, is shown. Zev Technologies made the Folding Defensive Carbine 9, or FDC-9, as a personal defense weapon that can be hidden. It's an updated version of the FMG-9 that might be for sale soon. Even though it would still be a short-barreled rifle regulated by the NFA, it would give professional bodyguards a little more firepower and might look good in movies. Even though most people who grew up in the 1990s like old-school guns, many of them have grown to like some of the more futuristic guns that are on the market today. Even when things are pretty calm, militaries all over the world keep working on making some pretty powerful weapons. You have to admit that a lot of us want to get our hands on some of these bad boys, even though it's scary to think that these weapons could be used on people or animals. That was all from our side. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you soon.